Because there have been times where Trump has complimented like the current dictator of North Korea.
I was fed 150 kernels of corn per day.
Is it as destitute and like as some people say it is?
There is no word for human rights in North Korea.
Right.
It's like a battle between like starvation, and freezing winter weather.
There are people getting stopped at airports and their phones checked. If they have a meme of Trump or a meme of Vance, they're, not like allowed on the plane.
Guards would storm into your cells and force us to recite the rules of the camp. And if you misquoted even one of them, they would force you to...
I don't know, I've always been so fascinated with what I guess inside North Korea looks like, just because I'm just given the political climate. I guess my biggest wonder is what is it really like on the inside for the average day-to-day North Korean? Is it as destitute and as some people say it is, or is it not?
That's a great question, and that's very...
I was hesitant to ask. I figured, someone's asked him that already.
No. I mean, I have, but I'm glad that you're asking that question again, because we gotta raise more awareness. I gotta share over and over again. But so for me personally, my life was trying to survive.
Right.
It's like a battle between starvation, and freezing winter weather, and trying to survive. But that's not true for all North Koreans. Elites, for example, right? They live far better life than any middle-class Americans, right? Because those are in Pyongyang, they get to do whatever they want.
Right.
And you actually, I've actually have elite friends as well, who escaped North Korea.
Interesting.
They say, oh yeah, we have coffee shops, they can eat hamburgers, and they have they don't have access to internet, but they have access to video games. So they have access to almost everything.
Interesting.
The reason why they don't want to defect, right, or they don't want to do anything about it is because they have it good.
Right.
Why do they need to abandon that to actually go somewhere else?
Right.
Because when they have it good.
Right, what's it to them? What's going on?
Right. It's they don't really care of what's going on. So,
what what determines who gets to live like that versus who doesn't?
That's a great question. Elites, right? Yeah. So you kind of have to born into it. Yeah, so it's so during the Kim Il-sung, do you guys know Kim Il-sung, the first dictator?
Oh, he was the first one. Okay.
The first dictator of North Korea. He fought, with the Japanese, right? So people who actually fought with him, those are called the elites.
Okay.
Those are called the 백두 혈통. They're born into it.
Okay.
And it's very close circle, an inner circle. So you need to have a special permission to live in Pyongyang too, right? Because it's such a elite area, and also people are exposed to foreign people, right? Because tourism is a real thing, right? So not everyone it's not oh, let me just drive up to Pyongyang for the weekend and spend some weekends there and come back. No.
Right.
So what happens if sorry, that was really close. What happens if someone were to try to enter who wasn't an elite? Would they?
Yeah.
Is it walled off, or are there gates? How does that?
So, and in Pyongyang there are checkpoints on all, even in North Korea in general. Checkpoints on all major roads, right? And guards with AK-47 waiting for you to actually enter, right? If you were to try to leave your a city without a troubling documents, you will get caught, and you will be sent to 6 months of re-educational forced labor camp. Yeah, so you'll go to jail.
Right. Do you have any insight on what exactly re-education what that looks like? Do they what does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great
what do they do with
That's a great question. So when I got captured and sent back to North Korea, so I escaped North Korea twice, right? Sorry, I did not say that.
That's okay.
We should have asked your story.
So I was born and raised in North Korea. I escaped North Korea twice.
Okay.
First time when I was 14, and second time when I was 16 and a half. When I first escaped North Korea, I was captured and I was repatriated back to North Korea from China. And then I went to jail, right? I went to the equivalent of forced re-educational camp. In there, I was fed 150 kernels of corn per day. So 50, 50 per meal. And there are people, there are people who's counting that as a job in the camp, right? I was there for 9 months, working 12 hours every single day. And at the end of 9 months, imagine eating corns for basically every single day.
Right.
I was malnourished. I couldn't even stand up or even lift my arm, right? So I could not move. And eventually they sent me back home because I was just worthless.
Right.
And there are like many rules, right? In every single camp, there are many rules and you have to memorize them. Right. If you were to misquote it, like there are the guards, right? The guards will storm into your cells and force us to recite the rules of the camp. Right? There are many rules and you have to memorize them. And if you misquoted even one of them, they would force you to stand all night until work began the next morning. Right? So it's both the physical and psychological torture. Right? So it's pretty bad. It is very, there is no word for human rights in North Korea. Yeah.
I saw this clip on the internet. I take it with a grain of salt because it's the internet, but I've always wondered how true it is, how sort of like the brainwashing takes place there. This guy was talking about how he was asked, what's 1 + 1? And he said, well, obviously 2. And the officer was said something like, no, that's like what that's what the American math or the white man's math says. If I take a water droplet and I add it to another water droplet, it's just, do I have 2 water droplets? No, I have one big one. That's how so is with like the Korean people, because I know they don't separate North and South Korean. They think it's just one homogenous race, and that their mission is to like absorb it back. So like I was wondering if like there's any like truth to that, or like if that seems like if there's similar things that happen there.
Yeah. So that is a great question, and yes, it is true.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's like entire education system of North Korea, because I've went to school up until only when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't go to school after that.
Right.
But like that's kind of like math that we're taught, right? So 1 + 1 does not equal to 2.
Right.
It equals to bigger one.
Big one.
Right.
Yeah.
So it actually applies in the concept of the dictatorship and the Juche ideology.
Yeah.
Right. So we're a bigger one. So when we come together, it does not equal to 2, but if we were to come together as one, it becomes bigger one. Right. So in a way, that's not like the real mathematical, like we don't literally learn the mathematics. It's like 1 + 1 is not equals to 2, but 1. It's more in a sense of like
reinforcing an ideology.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So another example that I can give is like we didn't learn that the America dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki twice.
Right.
And they surrendered. We learned instead that Kim Il-sung defeated the head-to-toe armed Japanese and freed us from their enslavement.
I see.
Right? And America is trying to do the same thing to us. So the reason why we're starving here is because we needed to make more weapons. We need to build nuclear weapons to actually defend ourselves from evil Americans, right? But meanwhile, we're just trying to live our lives. You know what I mean?
Right.
And also another example is like in school, when I was in North Korea, I learned that when people think about North Korea, they usually think of nuclear warheads, authoritarianism, and a heartless dictator. I'm making content because I want everybody to think of North Korean people. They are ordinary people who don't know how much better life could be. If you want to help me be a voice for voiceless North Koreans, I would love for you to support me on Patreon, where you can get early access to full-length videos, all sorts of fun pictures, outtakes, and other exclusive videos. Thank you, and I hope to see you there. I learned that it's math questions, right? There are 20 evil American tanks. One brave North Korean tank comes in and destroys 5 of evil American tanks. How many evil American tanks are left? Right, so those kind of like, even like mathematical questions are formed in a way that we are hating Americans, right? And we want to like, things like that.
Interesting.
I I have so many questions, but
No.
I guess like looking at things currently happening in this country with our politics, like, do you have like, is there like a real comparison, I guess, like to like the early days? Like I've seen people make
I
comparisons to
see. Like the
other dictatorships and like how they started, or
I
even
see, I see.
Germany. But is that a true comparison? Do you feel like it's, because I know America's also different. Where like we're not a homogenous culture. Like we're not all one race. Like there's so many different races.
Collective ownership.
Like could a dictatorship like what's in North Korea even happen here if we aren't like that? I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question because I get those kind of questions a lot. Mainly because of like again like the political climates that are going on currently. But I've seen dictatorship, right? And I am from a dictatorship country, right? And I've seen horrific things. Like North Korea is like you get executed for saying things like I don't like Kim Jong-un.
Right.
Or just questioning the regime's morale. But here in America, even though, certain things that the government does is shady, certain things that they do is like questionable, but you still get to question that, and you still get to throw even though you don't, like you can't throw a protest, right, on the street of like, I don't like what you're doing. You can't do that without any consequences, right? You can say things. So I wouldn't say there is real comparison between America and North Korea, and I don't think America is going to that route.
Okay.
I don't think Trump is going to that route. I don't think so, but I don't know politics that deeply either. I'm just strictly saying from personal experience, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I guess on that note, because there have been times where Trump has complimented like the current dictator of North Korea, which is interesting. Like he's like complimented how strong he is, how he wants like the people of America to all like love him, like how he's loved in North Korea. And there are like kind of like beginnings of like, people getting stopped at airports and their phones checked. If they have a meme of Trump or a meme of Vance, they're, not like allowed on the plane, or they're not allowed in the country. So those things are beginning, I would guess, to say. So how did what does that make you feel?
It's starting to look like it.
Like hearing like how like it's kind of like, obviously, it's not to the same level.
Right.
It seems like he at least, he's looking at North Korea. He's like, I like that guy.
Yeah, like the level of like the empathy and things that he does. I see.
And like the starting of like, oh, you have a meme, like you can't get into this country, or like things like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like I do want to go home and research more about that because I have not heard it before or I have not seen it.
Okay.
But I do remember what Trump was saying, like along the lines of like, oh, I have a bigger and better kind of like rocket, and actually that one that actually works. Like I remember hearing that comment, but any other than that, like I haven't heard like people getting like their phones checked or they're getting stopped at TSA or.
It's definitely a newer, like more recent thing.
Interesting.
So,
okay, I will do more research on that. But
it's just like interesting hearing you say like how that stuff happens on like obviously a different level. But I was like, okay, it does seem like maybe there is. Even if like America can't execute it properly, like even if we can't ever get to like the full dictatorship, like it seems like at least Trump is like. Has like he likes what North Korea is doing, like maybe he wants to try and get there. So I just,
the collective ownership, like socialism. Is that what North Korea is still? Because I think North Korea is definitely a dictatorship country, right? And it's also definitely a socialist country because like you are working you're not working for money. You are working and you are giving service to the regime, and in return, they will give you food, rations, right? But that does not happen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah, but I will definitely research that, and I'll actually get back to you on that.
Okay.
Like if you guys follow me on Instagram, and if you just shoot me a DM.
Bring this one to a close. We're ready. We have one.
Okay,
Yes,
Maybe
okay.
One more question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you probably had a lot of beliefs and thoughts about Americans and America coming up in North Korea, and like now that I assume that you're here and you're like safe from the regime now.
Yep.
So like, and like you're in one of the most affluent city in the nation. Like people,
right, yeah.
I tell people where I'm born and raised here. I tell people where I'm from, and they go, "What? You know,
Yeah.
you're from here?" So I want to know, like, now that you're here, and like now, like, what was that like for you to kind of be here now and to like see it with your own eyes, and to like what was that like for you?
I can't complain.
Yeah.
It feels like getting into a time machine and fast forwarding 70 years into the future.
Right.
Wow.
Like, I'm not sure if you can imagine that.
Yeah, no,
I can,
But it's amazing.
A little bit. I mean, my dad's from the South, so like when I visited there, it's kind of like going back in time a little bit because just how houses look, streets look, stuff like that. But like, so I kind of understand, but like I wouldn't have that perspective of here forward.
No, I'm just, it's just so great where there's like everything, you know, it's like technology, there's like, you know, good weather, you know, it's like, it was so out of concept to me, like, you know, wearing t-shirt in like a December, you know, it's like,
right.
Yeah. So, it's amazing. Like, at least like I get to say, you know, freedom of speech, you know, and I mean, definitely you shouldn't say things that are, you know, it's like in the society, hateful speech like that, but at least you can share your thoughts, right? You can share your, like, whatever you're thinking, right? And you are not gonna get repatriated or you're not gonna get punished for just sharing your opinion, right? Unless you make like outrageous claims, you know, something like that. But so I'm very grateful that I'm here, and I'm very thankful that I'm here.
Wonderful.
That's a great like perspective to hear. So thank you. And
Well, so nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Yes,
Good to meet you.
Please do DM me. I'd love to get back to you on that question as well. Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Have a nice day.
You as well. Thank you.